Alright, we're back at the next class trial. Oh, I can only check truth bullets? I was wanting to double check what my, I was wanting to double check, the skills I had. Guess I'm gonna have to use my notes for that, because I know it should be it should be Kyoka's, Mitsuhito's, and Akane's. And I know Akane's is more for free time events. Right? Kyoka's is removing the non-stop debate trembling. I wanted to get that. I wanted to make sure I got that before the first class trial. Mitsuhito recovers 1 focus per phase completed and doubles focus score. That should be everything I have so far. Alright, let's recap truth bullets. Monokuma file 2, burnt marks, stomach wound, Inori's medical exam results, broken flashlights, dying message, broken glass window, burned fuse line, piece of bloody cloth, lighter, the secret message, blood marks on the entrance side, wire trap, Hatano's injury, third flashlight, Taida's testimony, Kinjo's testimony, window fragments, Tedia's testimony, Kurokawa's testimony. I think we're ready to start. First of all, let's start with a brief explanation of the class trial. The outcome of the class trial is decided by your votes. If you point out the blackened, only they will get punished. But in case you point out the wrong person, I'll punish everyone except the blackened, and the one who tricked everyone else will graduate from this academy. Finally, the second class trial has begun. There's no such thing as being used to this atrocious game. I'm actually more anxious than last time. But if I'm afraid here, it can't be helped. As we did last time, let's think carefully with everyone. Now then, first... Wait a minute, there's something I want to ask first. Oh my! Hold up, what are you going to ask? Last time, it was my first time, so I didn't question it, but now that I think about it, I believe I have to ask this now. The body discovery announcement. What exactly are the conditions for the broadcast to show up? Mikado, why are you suddenly asking this kind of stuff? If you find a dead body, then it shows the BDA. You just shut up. I see, after all it is Mikado the one who paid attention to that, huh? Even so, it is basically as Kobashi-kawa-kun says. When you find a body, I broadcast it. Only... when 3 people, at least 3 people have found a dead body, then the announcement will show up for everyone. Was it always like that? Is that a rule made on the spot, or was it applied from last time? Of course it was applied from the beginning. In Maki's case, Taida found it first, then Maida, and finally Hatano. Since the order was complete, it satisfies the condition of 3 people. The announcement came out because that rule was successfully completed. Right, it's true. The announcement rang the moment Hatano discovered it last. This thing, to say an important detail at a time like this. Did I tell you about this? It's too late. Oh crap. Well, you know when people live, they forget. It's like that, right? Oh, I'm not human, but a bear, so it's okay. Okay, when more than 3 people find the body, well, that found criteria is not dwell on time, is it? For example, a week passes after the initial discovery, then the second one appears, and even if the third discoverer appears another week later, the broadcast will also ring? Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. When the first 3 people who have seen a corpse in any way, the announcement will sound the moment the third person discovers the body. Mikado, I know it's fine to check the rules, but is the condition of the body discovery announcement important enough to ask? Wouldn't our main purpose now to be to find the culprit? Keep quiet, I'm not over yet. Now then, Monokuma, this is the most important question. That would be a witness to the crime. That would be a witness to the crime, including the culprit. Oh? Huh? I've asked a question. You won't answer? You ask, does the witness include the culprit? Oh, that's a bit pretty, very super great whole delicate matter. I see. Even with a sharp sense, it becomes a problem. Okay, I'll tell you in this particular scenario. Depending on the characteristics of the case, whether or not the culprit is included in the discovery will be decided at the end of the trial. What? Then it's different this time? Then no one knows. It's up to our own judgment. That would also induce everyone to be against each other. I already told you this. When it comes to trials, I'm fairer than the Buddha, God, and Jesus combined. You said Jesus twice in a different meaning. Let's recap. In the last case, you said that the announcement rang because Akane Taira, Yuki Maeda, and Ayame Atano discovered the body. Then in the last case, Mitsuhiro Higa, the culprit, must have been excluded from the equation of 3 people discovering the body. I excluded Higa-kun. In fact, it didn't matter much if I included him since the first 3 people to discover it were together that time. Then what about this case? The culprit who killed Kizuna Tomori. Did you include that person as a discoverer? Huh? Yeah, that's right. Specification aside. I'm some dialect. Did you inhale a Tony? Look, that dialect is not that awkward. The mainland punctuation. Pronunciation. You don't seem to be enough from the mainland to mix different parts of the country. No comment on that. Well, if you ask for my opinion on a particular case, I would be the one in trial instead. If a judge enters the discussion, it's unfair, right? That would be a violation. You're also evading the answer. Fine, just looking at your reaction makes me think I touched a sensible subject. No, I don't know what you're talking about. What was Mikado talking about? Somebody let me know. Well, that does it for the mischief to this point, and let's go with the trial soon. Did you know that 12 o'clock has passed already? Originally, I was going to start right away, but Miss Mikado sounded weird and it's late now. Anyways, let's go. First, start with the arrangement of the case. Please begin the discussion. Why did Mikado ask such a question? I have no clue what she's thinking. I'm curious, but now I have to focus on the trial without thinking about anything else. Time to arrange the scene. Let's gather, everyone. I hate to follow Monokuma's words, but we need to begin with the case. That is the topic at hand, because the people on the dormitory side at the time of the situation wouldn't know the details of this incident. Oh, right, what happened to them? After listening to the body discovery announcement, I was in a hurry to find you guys, and then Tomori. She was dead in the power room, all over, with burnt marks in the room. Okay, for those who know, reorganize the scene with the rest, and those who do not know the order of events. From now on, take some time to confirm your positions with everyone. Kenjo-kun, don't you have something to tell us before that? What? You said you wouldn't make anyone a victim if we followed you. For that purpose, we agreed, and you got rid of a group of 3 people, and everything ended up like this. So why? Are you proud of it? Good job, then. Okay, I would have to make amends to risk my own life and apologize for that because I didn't keep my promises, but if you can't surpass this moment, everyone will die. It's a pity for what happened with Tomori, but I also have a duty to keep you all from being executed in this class trial. If you don't like it, I'll be out of this trial. Yeah, I'm an incompetent cop who can't make promises anyway. That's enough! Everyone is on edge. Think about other things later and focus on the trial for now. Yes, Akane, you know your heart, but let's finish this first. Yeah, and Kinjo-kun, I didn't mean to. Sorry. It's fine. Then let's begin sorting out the case step by step. Well, you know I won't say it anymore, but I won't help you, understand?
I don't need you because there's Kinjo with us.
Me?
Oh no, Makoto, you can stay.
Don't let me do everything. We have to do it together. I said to myself, even for a dead guy, you must understand the truth of the case yourself.
Oh, alright.
Then let's begin. I didn't manage to get to the power room at the beginning of the whole incident to see it directly. Let's discuss what we heard and saw. The first part, around 9 p.m., Atano discovered a fire in the power room, was it? Yeah, I was walking down the corridor on the second floor before nighttime, but when I entered the power room, there was black smoke coming out because it seemed to smell like something burning. You mean that's what happened? I was at the antique shop, but I had no idea. I heard Atano's cry and rushed to the second floor. Urahara and Makoto were together as we bumped into each other on the way. We went first to the power room, the epicenter of the fire. It was hot and smoky. The fire was about to spread from the switchium to outside. Yes, that's exactly what Kinjo told me. I already know this part from Kinjo. What did Urahara do soon after was use a fire extinguisher to put out the fire. So you brought a fire extinguisher in the hallway on the second floor to extinguish the fire, right? Yeah, that's correct. By the way, how does Maida know that? The ones in the area were Kinjo, Urahara, Makoto, and me. Oh, I asked Kinjo about it while investigating. Right, I told him. Maida knows the unfolding process of the case. Is that so? Then let's continue. The four of us were putting out the fire. I heard something breaking inside the switchium. At that moment, Kinjo looked at Urahara and asked to see if someone was going out of the power room door, and the other three, including me, went to the switchium inside, and there... somebody was dead. Yeah, at that point the BDA came out, Taida and Kurokawa arrived to the power room soon after. Okay, from here on our dorm team has joined, so let me speak. When we arrived, the fire had already been extinguished.
After that, like last time, Akuma handed out the file and put us on time to investigate.
Right, from here on out are the things that I've seen with my own eyes. Right after I examined the switchium and returning, that happened. That being Atano's injury by a wire. Shortly thereafter, Atano had an accident in which her leg was injured by a wire trap.
That's what happened?
Yamaguchi said it before in front of the elevator. Didn't you hear, dummy? Ayame-chan, is it really okay? It still seems to be a little fuzzy. Oh, no problem. It hurts a little right now, but it's not a major injury, so we can treat it properly after this trial. Isn't that right, Inori? Yes. Well, you don't have to worry. Please continue with the trial. You, that leg wound. Is this an injury more serious than expected? What are you talking about? Didn't she say it was okay? Even pretense is useless. Do you think I can't read other people's minds? You, that incompetent and the doctor, the atmosphere of you three, makes things clear that something happened. Shall we guess? Let's see. How about the leg injury is so serious you won't be able to use it ever again? What? What are you talking about? Ayame-chan said she was okay. That is a lie, right? Mikado was just talking nonsense, yeah? Hey. Sorry, I thought you might be worried more, so I decided to keep this with Atano. I lied. I'm sorry. Inori, no! Is it a lie? What do you mean? In reality, Hatano's injury, the moving muscle tissue, the most important posterior tendon was amputated. Without luck, it's a serious injury that you might really have to wear crutches forever. What? Why was she lying to say that it's okay for that serious injury? This is the most important trial of all our lives. Every detail matters. Sorry. Because of that, Hatano and I thought it was to avoid getting you guys confused, but I'm so sorry that Hatano tried to pretend to be okay, so sorry. Hey, Ame-chan, it's a lie, right? Tell us something! Sorry, I was lying.
What? That is really...
Because the nurse's office is now locked, and since there are no facilities for treatment to treat the wounds, it is literally hemostasis. It's really hard to stand still. Isn't that too much for her? Hatano, shouldn't you get treated quickly, get healed, and come to the trial later? Hey, what are you talking about? What's more important than the trial? But... Ame-chan, she can't even run again! No, I'm sorry, but I agree with Makaru. Whether your leg is crippled, cut off, or unable to walk, if you don't win the trial, you will die. Then it is more serious than what you mentioned before the trial. I lied that I was okay with this. As a result, I caused an even greater confusion. Sorry, everyone. Hey, Ame-chan doesn't have to be sorry. Can't she be let go, at least to get a proper treatment?
No. It's absolutely forbidden to leave the court during the trial. If you're worried about Mrs. Hano's leg, you'll have to finish your trial first.
You say that, but I'm also in agreement. I don't really care, but I want you to focus on finding the culprit. If the focus is on me, I'll die just standing. But hey, Ame-chan... She says that, but let me comply with the will. And don't you think it would be wise to finish the trial earlier in time and get treatment? But Hara is right. Hatano, it may still be painful, but please hold on a little. Let's focus on the trial for now, everyone. Okay. Thank you for your consideration, Akane. Then let's get back to the main topic again. Yeah, where did we end again? We were talking about Atano's injury by the wire. Yeah, shortly thereafter, Hinori took Atano to provide first aid. We went out of the power room and continued the investigation. That's the end of it, right?
Quiz? I think it's a useless question. Sorry in advance. The health room was locked, but how did you do Atano's treatment and where?
Right, I needed something tough and thick to use as a bandage, but there were some things like rags in the warehouse. However, since it is really a substitute and only first aid, there is a possibility of additional sepsis and bacterial infection. She will need antibiotics just in case. But in order to do that, we had to find out the killer and end this trial, right? Yeah, but because someone died... Well, is there really another culprit among us? A killer who stabbed Tomori? Now why are you doubting it for? That's for sure! But if you point the killer gets executed. Seems like you're sacrificing one person to save Atano. So, would you save the killer? To save a killer, 11 of us have to die. I agree. Let me say this, okay? A guy who knows a person is cheap even if they die. How long will you waste your time on such useless topics? I didn't mean it like that. I'm apologizing. So how come Mikado and Kinjo teamed up? They seem to be getting better and better. I understand Tori's feelings, but is it okay? I feel the same because it feels like, in the end, whether or not we point out the killer in this trial, someone will be killed. I wish there were no victims, but that bear Monokuma thing won't let us go. Damn it. What purpose does he want to achieve? So the case was cleared up. Who's the killer? We have to figure that out from now on. Honestly, this case has a lot of twists. If you think of it as an ordinary murder case, it's not going to fit in at all. First, let's solve the mystery of each event one by one. The priority should be the victim's body. The body? Tomori's corpse was an important clue to be able to tell the whole story of this incident. There aren't just one or two secrets related to her body, to the corpse. Personally, I didn't notice there was anything special. Corpse. Based on my investigation, let's present the evidence gathered. From now on, non-stop debate will begin. That's up debate. Her points out contradictions of the remarks made by her classmates. And point out during it. This is the same thing as last time, isn't it? Yeah. Shoot, what button was switch it? What clues does Tomori's body have? I don't remember well. The knife was on her neck? Also, the whole body was with blood all over. There we go.
It was terrible. Sasuke was vomiting for a while.
She was dead. Is this relevant? Other than that, can't you think of something more essential? It was written in the Monokuma file about what Tomori died of, and he gave me a clue that supports that evidence. Right. Wait, it's switched! No, you're not allowed to do that! No, it doesn't seem like that. Something makes the idea to be wrong. Yeah.
Let's go, you.
Taida, wait a second. The weapon that stabbed Tomori was not a simple knife. It was a kitchen knife. Huh? Kitchen knife? Right. It's even clearly stated in the Monokuma file. The definitive cause of death is a cut through the esophagus caused by a knife. Right. Sorry, I can't remember well. But the kitchen knives are only in the kitchen. Is there any evidence the culprit brought it? There is, because Kotokawa saw that a knife disappeared from the kitchen right after the incident. Right, Kotokawa? Yes. Too slow response! So the killer brought the kitchen knife out of the kitchen? I guess it disappeared from the kitchen. But that's a little weird. If the killer used a kitchen knife, there is a contradiction. What are you talking about? Oh wait, I think I know. Why is Taida talking like that? Obviously, at the time of the crime, Taida could have known that it was contradictory that the killer took the kitchen knife from there. The reason is... because of Taida's own testimony. Taida, that contradiction is because you were in the kitchen at nighttime, right?
Yes, right. That's it, Marikun.
What? But what does that mean? Mikado, didn't you say you weren't gonna meddle? I said I wouldn't help, but I didn't say I would not raise a question, asshole.
Yikes.
Taida told me. She was cooking in the kitchen near the end of nighttime. Cooking?
Yeah, I'm sure because I remember that I accidentally splashed oil on my clothes and wiped them in the bathroom. Oh, that happened!
Wait, if Taida was still in the kitchen at that point, how did the culprit take the knife from the kitchen without bumping into her? Also, that's not all that's weird. Taida said it was around nighttime, but Tomori's death was at 9:30, written in the Monokuma file. Taida, I'm asking just in case. You're the last person in that area. Did you put all the knives in place before you left the kitchen?
Yes, I used it when I was cooking myself, so I remember it for sure.
Wait, what? When the knife was used in the crime, Taida, if you check all the knives in the kitchen, it doesn't make sense.
That's why it's called a contradiction.
If you think about it, do you think it's not a kitchen knife then? No, there are only kitchen knives in the kitchen. The second floor was open and I've been searching all places ever since. But when everyone started investigating, didn't Kotokawa say she saw the kitchen knife disappear? The knife used as a weapon. Kitchen. That's correct.
Which one is it?
Kinjo, don't you know? Sure, it's a contradiction. You don't even have to think about the ridiculous story of using another knife out of nowhere. Kinjo worked hard. Now we're all finished. But there's only one way to solve this problem.
Really? How?
Very simple, in fact. Taida, you're lying right now.
What? Now wait, why is it this way?
Isn't it obvious? The Monokuma file doesn't lie. Then the time of death is sure to be 9:30. Also, the kitchen knife is only in the kitchen. Therefore, the order of events, the kitchen knife being taken from the kitchen killed Kizuna Tomori, is established. These two facts can be proven with certainty. But what does Akane Taida mean? What proves that a woman was cooking in the kitchen?
No, wait a minute. What are you trying to say?
Taida, I'm in doubt. Were you together with someone? Yes or no?
I was alone.
I can't believe someone without witnesses. Anyone can use it as if it's just a talkative alibi.
Oh no, wait a minute. Why is the room like this all of a sudden? I was really in the kitchen, guys.
But if Taida's words are true, it would never make sense. Taida, did you lie? Why did you lie? Don't tell me.
Taida's the culprit? Why am I the culprit? What reason is there for me to kill Kizuna-chan? There's nothing!
I got it. She kept ignoring your persuasions and invitations. Did you bear a grudge?
Funny, really. Kizuna-chan grunted a lot, but in the end she accepted us. The murder happened after that.
I can see that you may not be the killer. Still, to say you were in the kitchen would be a lie. Why are you lying like that?
No, it's not a lie.
Taida, tell me honestly. I want to believe you that you're not the culprit. So then, Taida is really lying to us? Wait, I can't tolerate Akane being the culprit without corroboration. But I'm not trying to blame them. It doesn't make any sense if Taida's words were true. No, there's a case where Akane's words can be proven to be true enough. What? It seems you haven't realized, since you don't. Let me show you. The fact that Akane never lied. Counter-argument showdown. Okay, this one I need to remember what to do. Showdown isn't a debate against a person who objects to the player's opinion. The disagreeing character continues to speak out and presses their adversary. The player can break opponent's words by pressing the decision key, and the words with yellow letters can be rejected by pressing the shift key using the selected truth knife. Also, you can change the truth knife like changing a truth bullet with the left and right arrow keys. Elementary, it's like non-stop debate with the knives. The shift key is useless for white text, and when the decision key is pressed, the words are cut in order the opponent said them. Be careful. Also, if you dispute the wrong yellow text, your HP will be reduced. If you fail to cut the text, your speech power will be reduced by 1. Blah, yada yada yada. If Akane's words are true, when Tomori died, the knife was in the kitchen. Then it's simple. As soon as they killed Tomori, they put the knife back in the kitchen. The time of death is 9:30 p.m. You can't use the knife before that. There's no other explanation than this. No, there is still a conclusion. Did you forget Tomori's fatal injury? Meaning it's not hard to think that death was not instant. In other words, the time of Tomori's death is almost consistent with the time using the knife. You don't know that. In fact, even at such a time of death, Inori said there were individual differences. Once that problem was solved, then... after... I forgot they moved it moves too fast. Hatano, I'm sorry, but there's a contradiction in that logic. What are you talking about? Isn't it possible to commit a crime while proving Taida's words? Hatano, you mean the killer is taking a knife out of the kitchen right after Taida leaves the kitchen to wash her clothes? And they run straight to the power room and put the knife back into Tomori's body? Yeah, if you move quickly, it's quite possible in less than 3 minutes from the kitchen to the power room. Fast isn't the problem. Did you forget, Hatano? By the time nighttime began, you guys were putting off a fire in the power room. Oh! Hatano, Kenjo, Makaru, Udohara, if 4 people are in the power room and walk in with an object that stands out like a kitchen knife, it cannot be missed or even hidden in plain sight. In other words, even if Taida secretly managed to pull the knife out of the kitchen, it's absolutely impossible to enter unnoticed to switch him and stab the knife on the body. I can't. Thanks for the explanation, Maida. Thanks to you, it saved us trouble. Like Maida said, Hatano, I understand that you're a close friend to Taida. Unfortunately, if Taida's words were true, there would be an absolute contradiction to appear in her testimony. Akane, speak up your mind. Did you lie? Can I say one more important detail in this? When the current body discovery announcement showed up, the 4 of us who put out the fire and the 6 in the student dormitory confirmed each other, so there is an alibi for us. But Akane Taida and Mikako Kurokawa, you two have no alibi. Well, this much has been proven thus far. Taida really killed Tomori? No, I'm not the real killer! Taida? Really, the kitchen knife thing, I really don't know. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I'm not really the culprit. I didn't kill Kizuna-chan. Akane, really? Can I trust you? But how do you explain that when you don't have an alibi? If you don't have it, that means either Taida or Kurokawa are the culprits. You're the most potential subject in every way. Is it so weird to cook alone and go to the bathroom? I just happen to be alone. Taida, tell the truth, and if you're not guilty, prove your innocence. Is Taida really the culprit? Certainly, even without an alibi, there is 1 or 2 places in doubt. Was Taida really with Tomori? No, I can't just doubt it yet. Not until all riddles are solved. I have to think what's been missing in the entire premise thus far. Jeez. Sorry. Okay, good. Taida is the Chinese culprit? I am not! Akane doesn't have an alibi? Since when?
Kabashikawa dies at 8:30 p.m. That's what I think.
Then there's no alibi for about 1 hour and 30 minutes with the witness missing. That'd be enough time to kill a person and for the fire.
I did not!
What was the fire for? There were a lot of confusing things at the scene. Lighters and flashlights, fuse lines, etc. If Taida doesn't have an alibi, she would be able to obtain them, wouldn't she? Wait, Kabashikawa, that's impossible! What do you mean about Taida procuring the tools used in the crime? Yes, Taida has no alibi for the time being. I can't deny that. Bringing the tools, however, there sure is one. Oh, that's a certain alibi. I want to hear this. The reason I know this is because of the fact that somebody told me. Right, Otori? Huh? Otori knew it. The lighter and fuse disappeared since late night. Gone? From where? My guess would be the antique shop again. Otori mentioned that he went to the antique store every day. After Maki's incident, the antique store was filled with most of the items. Then, after nighttime on the second day, the things used in this case suddenly disappeared, as mentioned by Otori. Oh, that's it! That's right, I did check them!
So, are you saying the killer took the tools late at night on the second day?
That would be the case, unless Satori is lying. No lie, it's true! Hey, the second day I told you was almost 2 days ago. Why didn't you talk back then, knowing what kind of scheme was made when Maki was... I'm sorry, at the time I wasn't able to figure out things properly. It could have been my own mind playing tricks, so I wasn't really sure about it. Well, if you're sure the tools were gone then, the killer took the tools in the middle of the night on the second day. That is what happened so far, if I understand this correctly. May I ask why does that become Tada's alibi? Why does Satori's testimony become Tada's alibi? It's because Tada can't go to the antique store on that night. Right, but Ohara probably doesn't know about the 3 who weren't with Kenjo, and only the rest knows. So we know Tada can't go to the antique store at night. And the reason is because of the late night rule. Why Tada couldn't bring the tools at night? That's because of the nighttime rule, of course. Nighttime rule? Wait, what?
If it's the nighttime rule, that's what Kenjo decided, right? To not come out of our rooms late at night after 10.
When did you decide that? Mikado and Urahara have no choice but to know, because the group decided when you were not there. Oh, wait, that's it! They don't come out of their room at night! This means that all the rest, meaning Mikado and Urahara, who were on their own, could have come out after nighttime. Yes, in other words, Tada was also in the time frame alibi for a late night time.
Yeah, I never came out of my own room at night.
Wait a minute, there's no alibi at all! Huh? That late nighttime rule isn't a rule set by Monokuma, isn't it? So what makes you think it's a genuine rule? Yeah, you don't get killed from breaking it and no evidence if you did, correct? That's... I'm sorry, but I think the same thing. Even if Tada followed the rules faithfully, there's no different from being without evidence. Does that mean... No, with that rule, Tada's alibi could be enough.
Kenjo-kun?
Oh, what is it now? Until now, you've been pushing Akane Taida, but you're a defense this time? Don't tell me you're defending your own rules now, because it's a self-made rule. Surely not. I know the laxity this rule has. It's lax? Of course, as Mikado said, it wasn't a formal rule and it was decided by ourselves, so there's no problem with breaking it. What? To break it? Isn't that actually helping a culprit? Oh no! Kenjo, did you suggest such thing even though you knew this would happen? Sorry, I kept this a secret from you guys. Actually, I did some work on your private rooms. Work? Indeed. Every late night, I put a thin thread on the door of your private rooms. Thread?
What does that mean then?
In fact, it's pasted so that it passes between the wall connected to the door and the door frame. If you do this, the tape will break when the door is opened and the thread will break as well.
So if the thread was broken, it would sound like someone has opened the door.
Now, I've been watching late at night every day this way. As each nighttime starts, I put a new thread on, and I got up earlier than anyone else in the morning to check if any of the threads were cut. So I can guarantee you, Taida has never been out of the room in a single night past 10 p.m. Oh, did you do that? Then you know who exactly left the room on the night the tools were gone? No, unfortunately, I didn't find that out. What do you mean you couldn't figure it out? You mean you couldn't confirm that the thread was broken? No, it's because no one has broken the thread. What? That means... You mean no one left the room late at night the second day? To be precise, the rest except Mikado, Urahara, and Tamori, because those 3 were an exception. Then that means it was one of the 3 that was able to use the tools at that time. However, Tamori is already dead, so either Mikado or Urahara are the culprits. Don't make such rash judgments. I swear I didn't commit a murder.
Now, wait a minute, Kenjo. What does it mean for us to have a thread on the door as a secret?
What do you mean? I explained it was a device to check if you were out of the room.
Not like that! It's as if you couldn't trust us at all! I mean, you were spying on us without saying a word?
Saida's right, Kenjo. You don't believe in us, don't you? It is not my reality to believe or not believe. This is just my nature, my own personality. I'm basically always suspicious of everyone other than me. Why is that your nature? What's with the expressions of disapproval? I proved Tada's alibi thanks to the threat on the door, right? Reasoning itself is impossible unless you're basically suspicious of others. Kenjo-kun, you really... Stop it! Why do you keep trying to fight? This isn't the time right now. While we're doing this, it's Ano's leg! Everyone calm down, even if you leave my legs. How many times is this gonna repeat already? It's not too late to cover up disputes even after the trial is over. Now let's focus on the case, please. Okay. So, is it just me and the priest who eventually took the tools? For now, I think so. But isn't that funny? You guys, all the other kids are suspicious, but Tsurugi Kinjo is not at all. What? I'll say this again. No matter how much you claim Akane Tada was in the kitchen, it's useless without evidence. What do you prove, Tsurugi Kinjo? That a guy attaches a thread to a door? Where's the evidence that confirms your actions? Kinjo? If you think he's the culprit, in all situations, he can sleep at will. Why is Tsurugi Kinjo not suspicious then? Do you think I'm the culprit now? Well, I'm just talking about possibilities. But you know there's no evidence in your words, do you? If that's the case, there's no evidence for Otori's testimony, right? The only one who checked these items was Otori, and even though it was just gone on the second day, we have no way to check it. What in blazes? You can't believe me now? One moment. If Kinjo's or Otori's words are false, isn't Tada's alibi also false? Wait, what? I'm telling the truth here! Everyone is in disarray. It's like they're trying to look for reasons to distrust each other even more than in Maki's trial. Has our trust started to break? I don't want this outcome. I'm powerless on my own. Enough. Considering the true or falsehood of the testimony will change nothing, I believe. The testimonies that have already been pointed is already a testimony worth considering. I like to approach this from the other side of the case. Kurokawa, I think this is the first time I came here that you've said the longest speech. Kurokawa is right, you guys. Now, don't mind the trivial things. A lot of time has already passed. Focus on the idea of finding the culprits. As soon as you finish, will it be daybreak till then? Am I already half asleep right now? You shut up. Yes, it seems that we were so enthusiastic about the killer being liars. As Kurokawa said, let's turn around halfway back and move on. Okay, I think that would be good, because I also want to avoid making discord with you guys. Do whatever you want. To go around halfway, you mean talking about the identity of the criminal. Are you going to put things aside for a while? Either way, whether Tada lied or not, we don't have the evidence, no matter who's right or not. Let's first solve another mystery. Okay, that's fine too. The more urgent it is, the more necessary it is to go back to. But even if we go back, what do we do first? Basically the same as before. You guys recall? The most important thing in this case is the dead body. But aside from who the culprit is, tell me what doubts you have about it. Then the path toward the outline of the culprit will look more natural. Body. Tamari's body was the most important clue. Let's recall in my memory how Tamari's body looked. How Tamari was killed. Let's think about it. I thought of that before, but first of all, it's the knife, right? Yes, the Monokuma file clearly points this out. Tamari was dead in the switchium? Why did she go to such place when there's not even light? It is possible the killer moved it. Anyhow, Tamori in the same way went to the switch room. Without a chance to resist, instant death with a knife it must have been. I see Teddy as a Star Wars fan. Authority, that's not it. Remember, Tomori's cause of death was obviously the neck wound, but there was another wound. There was another one? The stomach wound, that's right! Right, that's the important point.
The stomach was stabbed?
Why is that important? The killer just stabbed her twice, right? In general it is, but think about it. The cause of the neck wound. In this case, for some reason, you stabbed your victim in the stomach and the neck later. If you were going to kill on the neck from the start, why would you want to stab at the stomach first? The stomach was hit cleanly, but the fatal wound was missed. However, she was killed in the end. Is there something amiss? Ah, that's so cruel. You can probably see it like that. Looking at the case as a whole, it takes something to put in notice. What do you mean something to notice? Perhaps the fire has something to do with it? Fire, that's right, it turned out that there was a fire in the switchium room. Yeah, it's also important. You guys, don't you think the fire happened unnaturally? That's true. If you see a fuse on the wall and even a lighter on the floor, you could see it right away. So are you saying that the killer started the fire for some reason? Is there any reason to do that?
This is also a question that doesn't really matter. Is the bathroom okay? I'm sure the switchium is a really important place, so I heard it's a big deal if it gets damaged. Well, it's a really big place. It's cool. Of course, a fire was there. Fortunately, we lived because the fuse line was laid to burn only the walls. But I was supposed to not speak, right?
What did you say just now? It was laid to only burn the wall?
Oh, it was kind of puzzling after all. There was such a big fire, but Tomori's body didn't burn at all.
Only the wall without touching the machines or the body. Was there something on the walls? If it's a wall, what else was there? A wall. There's something on the wall of the switchium room. There's nothing coming to mind. Wait. Looking back at it, there was a line passing by it too. It was on the wall of the switchium along with something else. What was on the wall of the switchium room? There's only one thing, the glass window. The glass window? That big glass window? But wasn't it broken by the time we arrived? Oh, well, it turns out that when Kinjo and the others brought the fire extinguisher to put out the fire, didn't they say they heard something cracking or breaking inside? That's right. At the time, I thought it was the sound of someone in the switchium breaking the window and going outside. I asked Udahara to check the entrance to the power room. In the end, no one was seen. Wait a minute. If the only thing on the wall of the switchium room is the glass window, the culprit's purpose was to burn the window?
Well, I think I've heard this somewhere. When the glass is heated, it becomes fragile. That the killer set fire to the switchium after killing somebody and broke the fragile glass window while everyone put out the fire and take advantage of this to escape.
Wait, isn't that weird? If that's the case, all you have to do is heat up the window and break it. There's no reason to do a big job by setting the whole wall on fire, raging for no reason, right? It's possible that it was used as a smokescreen. Actually, Udahara tried to check the entrance, but didn't he say he couldn't see anything because of the smoke? Wow, that's too complicated. Anywho, doesn't that mean someone was inside the switchium right before we got in? Then, me and Kinjo, who were gathered at the point Udahara, Mikado has a definite alibi, right? No, you guys are making a big mistake right now. Huh? What do you mean? Think more carefully, then in your thoughts you can spot the contradictions. We are mistaken? What do you mean? Reorganize what you guys said. First, you go into the switchium, surely the fuse and lighter were used. The reason the killer used those is because there was a purpose for setting a fire.
By the way, the fuse was only surrounded by the wall, right? That would have burnt the walls.
On the walls, in addition to the windows, there was no special items in there. Meaning, the culprit broke the window and smoke started to spread. Did you check that, Inori? Glass windows are fragile when heated.
Yes, the molecular state of changes and cracks occur. If it was so fragile, the killer was applying the glass in order to escape. It's so impossible to accomplish.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah? That's what?
As Kinjo said, I think we were mistaken for one thing. It's what Inori said right now, the broken glass, that's what I mean. What are you talking about? We know for sure the glass window is broken, aren't you? Yeah, the glass window is broken, but it wasn't broken by anyone. It wasn't broken by anyone? Did the window break on their own? That's a bit ridiculous, but I guess it's not a wild fantasy. No, Maida made a very precise point. As Maida mentioned, the window was broken alone without anyone touching it.
Wait, really? Is it possible?
Like Inori said, the glass is weak to heat. Of course, it can withstand a certain degree, but if it is heated directly or if the temperature difference between indoors and outdoors is severe, the weakness becomes more prominent. Guys, do you remember the structure of the switchium room? It was a completely enclosed space except for the entrance, right? In fact, even when the fire broke out, I couldn't feel any heat outside.
Yeah, Kinjo's words are correct, but still, isn't it too much for a glass to break just by thermal change without any external force? Of course, the conditions are just right, not impossible, but...
I don't know what you're saying! Right, as Inori mentions, the logic is a bit far-fetched. But what if the conditions were met?
Huh?
I don't know if anyone noticed it because there wasn't a part that was noticeable at the scene of the incident, and because of the switchium itself was dark and probably no one was interested in it, but the glass window of the switchium was very tight. That's it. If the heat alone was left with enough time to break by itself, Kinjo's words would make sense. Hey, it's an interesting reasoning, but what's the basis of it? That it was only possible that the glass could break on its own by hearing this. You didn't throw this without thinking, right? Of course not, because Kinjo's remarks have an adequate basis. Isn't that right, Kinjo? Right. Did you also notice it, Maida? Yeah, actually I was also guessing when I said that the window wasn't broken by someone. The exact reason that glass broke on its own, it's probably because of the glass shards, right, Kinjo? The shards? Correct.
Please don't tell me I'm the only one in the world that doesn't get this until you give me a proper explanation.
At first, I only knew that the killer would make use of the window in some way to escape without fail, but Kinjo said during the investigation. Then please do. I need to investigate the window more. Oh, Kinjo, 1 second. Can I ask one more thing? I just heard the whole situation from you, but I still don't get what's weird about the glass shards from the window. To simply put it, it's neatly broken. The glass was neatly broken. What does that mean, you ask? In other words, it means if you broke it with human strength, it wouldn't break like this. It's human power. It's neatly broken. I don't understand it.
I see. What you mean is the broken shape. When I listen to Maida and think again, it really feels like that.
Yeah, if someone breaks a window with a hand or a blunt object, it should crack and break like a spider web. Have you ever experienced it at least once? You accidentally broke a glass or the shape of a broken glass? Oh, definitely. It looks like it was broken into a very complex shape like cobwebs. But how is the glass window of the switchium? It's like a broken shape as if part of the window somehow got neatly removed. No matter how you look, don't you think it was broken by an unnatural way? It certainly looks that way. There seems to be no contradiction in Kinjo's words. Funny, isn't it? Mikado, you must have known this much. I'd like you to stop trying to test me. Don't think of the class trial as a joke, Mikado. Oh my, thanks for the advice. I'm just worried that one day you'll become as lost as these friends of yours.
Kinjo, don't mind Mikado, keep going.
Actually, they just finished explaining. Wait a minute. If Kinjo's words are true, then when the fire broke out, doesn't it mean that nobody was inside the Switchium? Oh, so that's what he meant? Wouldn't that be very likely? If someone was inside and were trying to escape, it would be quicker to break the glass manually, instead of waiting to be heated in order to break itself. Yes, besides, Urahara at that time opened the entrance to the power room and was guarding it. No matter how thick the smoke was, if someone tried to leave, they would have been caught. At that time, we all thought we hadn't seen them because we all knew that someone broke the glass. But in reality, no one was inside the Switchium. And thus the killer deliberately heats the glass and breaks itself, and for the reason of making us think, someone inside the Switchium broke the glass and escaped. Okay, that's it, right? Then, in the end, everyone's alibis no longer hold. Is that the conclusion? Think about it. If there was no one inside the Switchium, the killer was ready to start a fire in advance, he could mix in us at any time. If that's the case, aren't you saying that it's possible for everyone to start a fire, including Kinjo and the group who went to put out the fire when the window was broken, and the rest of us in the dormitory side? Nani? Oh, you mean we don't have an alibi either? Yamaguchi is right. Anyone can commit a crime by reasoning from the information provided thus far. Hold on. Isn't that established under the premise that the person who caused the fire is the culprit? It hasn't been clear yet, but it seems too hasty.
There's no reason for a person who's not the culprit to set out a fire. I'm not crazy enough.
Even so, at the beginning, the timing of this incident, Tomari's death occurred around 9:30 p.m. Was anyone close by during that time? I mentioned this earlier, but I was cooking alone. I was looking around the warehouse for things to help with the treatments. It was useful for Hirotano's first aid. I was just lying in my own bed. What the? You mean everyone was alone? There does not seem to be anyone near the time of the crime. The only way we could see each other was to find out where each one was or where the alibis were lost, with the exception of Mikado, Urahara, and Kurokawa. What? Then are we back where we started? There's no evidence that everyone has an alibi or to deduce the culprit. That's why... You mean there's no one in doubt? No suspects? But then, who was it? Taida, except you! What?
What? Is this deja vu again? You know, maybe we're in an infinite loop now?
Stop doubting Akane! Didn't the talk about her testimony finish before? No, it wasn't over. It's just that it was put on hold because there was so much uncertain information. Nothing resolved about why she lied. No, I didn't lie. Wait, it's not Taida, as the testimonies of Kinjo and Otori proved it, right? Yeah, that's right. Whoever the culprit is, they have to prepare a fuse and a lighter to start a fire, but wasn't it mentioned that Taida didn't come out of their room in the middle of the night when we went to our private rooms? I'm uncertain about that. Frankly, I'm suspicious of each of them, and they were put on hold. Shouldn't we use the information we have, even if it is uncertain information, unless there is an objection to definitively deny it? I apologize. I'm really sorry. Even if there's an alibi for bringing the tools, I'll just keep it in mind. Taida's lie, however... To be honest, just the same with me. If she's not the killer, why did she make such suspicious remarks? I told you! I might have been mistaken! Well, either way, Taida would be able to get the tools, so she can't be the killer. Enough with this meaningless arguments. You are really just stupid.
What now? Do you think we're stupid?
Is it so stuffy that you can't see it? Want me to share some insights? What the? At the start of the class trial, you said you wouldn't even help. Oh, did I? Then I won't meddle. Do it yourself. No, that isn't... Ugh. Listen first. Mikado might know something, you know? I'll tell you one thing for those who are ignorant and poor. Is that there's a method. For the criminal to get the tools without using their hand. Say it then! The most representative example is an accomplice. You suspected that there could have been an accomplice in the last class trial, right? But Mikado, isn't it less likely that we have one in this case? We were informed that the only person to escape this place would be the killer. Moreover, even if there is an accomplice, it's impossible for them to bring the tools. According to Kenjo, in the middle of the night, the day the tool disappeared, not only Taida, but also because neither of us left our private rooms. Except for the 3 who didn't act with us.
Then it's gotta be Urahara and Mikado, the ones who helped Taida.
Why are you already making it confirmed as I did? It's not me! Okay, surely Mikado and me were able to roam around without any restrictions that day, but I haven't shown up to the antique shop until now. You don't even have to doubt me or Kenji Urahara, the person who brought the items from the antique shop. Can't you see it? Based on the testimonies from Kenjo and Hattori, there were only 3 people who were free to move around at night during that day. Mikado is saying that the accomplice is obviously visible. Surely it can't be that person, right? Mikado, the person who brought the tools. You mean it was Tomori? Huh? It was Tomori? That's right. If you have an accomplice, Kizuna Tomori shows up. You can't see anyone else, can you? By the way, I'm so ashamed that the incompetent had to answer this. Wait a minute, Tomori's the victim though. Why is she an accomplice? I'm not sure exactly, but the only ones to bring the tools were Mikado, Urahara, and her. She was a victim, so I wonder if there would be a contact with the criminal at some point. Incompetent, this is a common pattern, is it not? The story of a criminal tricking someone into a crime. Speaking of which, the criminal took advantage of the accomplice in the end. Wait a minute, Kenjo? Kenjo can also bring the tools at nighttime. There's no way to prove that Kenjo was out of their room or not. Didn't the time run out? While talking about that, believe or not to believe, you're free to believe. Now I think it's wise to follow more clear information than uncertain leads. Yeah, if you're with Tomori, you can definitely bring the tools. So what happened? For some reason, Tomori did something funny. The killer himself maintained an alibi that Tomori delivered the tools to the killer in the late night hours. Now wait a second, but Kizuna-chan didn't change her mind? There has to be a reason to decide and not the killer. You said she was an accomplice, but she can't actually get on the level of an accomplice. What accomplice did was just deliver the tools. I need this thing, please bring these for me is not enough excuse. What about it? If Taida's the culprit, there's nothing strange about that, right? No! That is not... Taida, I'm sorry. I hate to doubt you, but no matter how I look, there's only you. You too. Everybody, this is too much! Why are you so anxious to turn me into a bloody killer? You don't even have an alibi! The only difference between you and me is that I made a mistake once! Yeah, that's it, isn't it? You just got an appropriate stick, so you're hunting witches, you villains! Apologies, but it's a situation that doesn't seem to be as bad as it is right now. I'm the culprit only because there's no certainty at all? Taida's the culprit. Is that really it? As Taida said, there's only one thing everyone is suspicious of her right now. It's just a witch hunt, if there's no solid evidence. Let's think about it. Was there any more convincing evidence? Is Taida telling the truth? Or is she lying? Alright, Flash Anagram is starting. I remember how to do this one. The only difference is that the ones from now on aren't translated. Come on. Okay. Hey, get back here. No? And...
これだよ。
Come to think of it, there is. There is a clue about the culprit's identity. Oh? A clue to the killer's identity? Is that true? If you knew that, why do you mention this now? Sorry, I just remembered. And even though it's a clue to the killer, I don't know who it's pointing to. You don't even know who it's pointing to? Then how do you know it's a clue to the killer? Maida, what you're referring to is the dying message, is that correct? Right, some may not have seen it, but next to Tomodi's body there were some letters written in blood. A dying message, is it? Something like a cryptogram to point to the killer before they die. Yeah, everyone take a look at this. This is the dying message presumed to have been written by Tomodi.
Hey, this is it? I've seen this blood spot too. I just thought the blood splattered in a strange shape.
It actually looks like that, but if there is any meaning in these letters... This is a clue to the culprit, right? I think it's a good idea to decipher the dying message, rather than being suspicious of Akane while catching a fuss over it. But what does it say? Do we have any letters? Small x, small x, small x, big X. XXXX, 4 X's? I don't know what this means at all!
I think it's from Akane doll. Isn't this just a professional's job?
Basically, the dying message refers to the culprit more directly than you think. Because it's just before she died, the victim cannot afford to waste their time thinking. In other words, if you think a little, it has various meanings that will need to be solved. Don't think very hard, just change your perspective a little. 4x. Does that number have any meaning? Actually, doesn't it seem like the last x is a little big? It seems to have a different meaning from the first 3. What is x? The meaning of x? You guys are really stupid. What? Does that mean you understood the meaning of this dying message? Of course not. There's nothing to understand. This is not a password. It literally points to the killer. What? That was it. What? What do you mean literally? Well, first of all, if you don't know even after telling you this, I'd rather be executed and die. No way, wherever you look, it only reads X. Katakana. Huh? Katakana. Word. Think about it. Katakana is... Wait, katakana? Obviously this dying message looks like the letter X at first glance. It's because there's a lot of blood, but from the different perspective, it really looks like katakana. A letter that reads like an X in katakana. Meh. The most familiar one I can see. No, there are many other things you can think other than that. In fact, Japanese can be read differently enough even if it is written a little skewed. It's not strange for a person on the verge of dying to writing with their own blood, but it would be weird if they would write straight. Then what were they trying to draw in the end? The middle X and the third X, the alphabet X, have long vertical strokes. If X is tilted, it becomes meh. Where the vertical stroke is long, it's long. To-e? I don't know, man. I'm getting a headache. No way. Then this word means this. What this word means is. When I think of as katakana, the first X is almost similar to meh. I'll give one more hint. The third X has a symbol that seems to be hiding, see? I can't see anything like that. Look closely. It's buried in the big X next to it. It's hard to see it, because there's a drop of blood in that exact location. I don't know if you say so. Allow me to raise a question to you. Kenjo, your reaction seems to be the reaction after knowing the correct answer. At one point, after listening to Makoto and Kotokawa's words, I came to realize it. It seems like there are some other people who solved it besides me. The identity of the dying message. If you think of it as katakana, the first letter is me. It is May, and the last one has a hidden symbol. The second and third letters with long vertical strokes. The candidates are E and To. When I think about these combinations, I think I can see the answer for sure, but should I believe this answer? No, I have no choice but to accept the result. I have to do it. The person this dying message points to, the person's identity, I have to admit it. The meaning of the dying message. As Kodakawa mentioned, this was a text that could be read as it was in katakana. However, it just looks like the letter X because it's a little bloated. Maida, do you know the meaning of the dying message? Well, Kodakawa, Mikado, and Kinjo's hints set on. I'll explain to you guys from now on. First of all, the first letter, as everyone guessed, May. This was easy to understand that even if you look at it, you can confuse it a little with an X, right? I think the second letter is probably E. If you use the vertical stroke a little longer, it overlaps the horizontal stroke. It has a similar shape to May. And the third letter, it's probably hard to recognize, but I was able to guess based on Kenjo's voiceless remarks in the first two letters. Maybe this one is supposed to be Do? This one is close to E. If you write a longer horizontal stroke, it'll have the same shape as X. I'm still uncertain what the last big X means, but once you look at it this far, it's true that one word comes to mind. Maid. The ultimate maid student, Akane Taira. And with that cliffhanger, I'm going to have to stop here. I'm gonna have to, as usual, I'm gonna have to stop here. In the next episode, we'll find out if the last X has anything to do with the dying message. I think I worded that wrong. Hold on. I mean, with that last X being there, is Akane really the culprit?